Okay, in this second video I'm going to give you a brand new example that you haven't seen before, just to remind you again of the basic rules for drawing a pie chart. So we're going to do a survey of people's favourite brand of car. So we'll start with Audi, which received 14 votes in this survey, and Toyota, which scores 26. Mercedes scores 5, Ferrari scores 25, and Kia received 2 votes. Now, this example is going to be slightly harder than the first one I did, so I'm going to bring in the calculator to help me. So just add up my new votes, 14 and 26. Add 5, add 25, add 2 equals 72. So really important that we have a total of our votes. Now we come back to the protractor where we're going to be drawing our pie, and I'm just going to draw around this. And remember to place a dot in the centre, and obviously the sharper your pencil the better, and just pop 0 at the top there as well. And I can just very faintly see where the dot is, and I'm going to draw in my start line. It doesn't matter where your start line goes, but I just like to do it so it goes straight up to the top, and then I know it's all set and ready to go. Now, once again, we need to remind ourselves of how we work out how many degrees each of these are going to receive. So we said before that you need to divide the total amount of space in your chart, so we know that that's 360 degrees. We have to divide this up by the number of people that voted. So we're going to divide by 72. And I'm going to bring in my calculator again, because that's a sum that I can't do in my head. 360 divided by 72 equals 5. So I know that each person who voted in this survey is worth 5 degrees. So what I need to do is I need to go back to the original votes and convert these numbers, these raw numbers, into degrees. And to do that, I need to multiply by this magic number down here by 5. So in this first example, 14 times 5. And just for accuracy, I'm going to bring the calculator back in. Remember, I'm not testing your multiplications in this, I'm testing your ability to construct a pie chart. So please feel free to use a calculator. So 70 degrees for Audi, 26 times 5 equals 130 degrees for Toyota. 5 times 5 I can do is 25 degrees for Mercedes. 25 times 5 equals 125 degrees for Ferrari. And 2 times 5 I can do 10 degrees for Kia. And like in the first example, I'm going to just make sure I do a quick side sum where I add up the answers to these as well to make sure this all adds up to 360. So the largest first, 130, add 125, add 70, add 25, add 10. Perfect. They add up to 360 degrees. So I'm happy. Move that to one side. Now I can start to build up my my pie chart. I've got all the angles, I've got all the degrees that I need. So I bring the protractor back in. Remember to line up the center with the center point on here, and make sure you line up the 0 with the top of the chart as well. So my 0 is lined up there. Now the first one is 70 degrees, so round I go again, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, and just mark that in there. And again, I'm going to just, for good practice, I'm going to get used to taking the protractor off and putting it back on rather than just marking them on as I go. So there's the first one, 70 degrees, Audi goes in. I'm going to turn my sheet around so that I've got this line pointing up again. I'm going to get my protractor back in, centre on centre, 0 on the top, make sure it's all lined up perfectly, and then my next one is Toyota, which was 130, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 110, 120, 130, and mark it off. And then make sure you join up the centre with that point. And we call this Toyota. Once again, I'm going to turn the sheet all the way around. Hopefully you can just about see that. And I'm going to keep that at the top. Once again, everything's lined up. Turn the page, make it a lot easier for yourself. Put the centre on and the 0 facing up. Perfect, 0's on. And my third one was Mercedes. It was only worth 25 degrees, but round we go, 10, 20, and halfway between 20 and 30, 25. It's just going to be a small piece of pie for Mercedes. And just so I don't forget, let's write it in quickly before we move on to the next one. There's Mercedes done. And then we've got Ferrari, which is a nice big chunk of 125. So that line back at the top again. It's very repetitive, but if you remember how to do it for one, you remember how to do it for all. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 110, 120, and then 125. Let's just make sure that's perfectly accurate. Ten, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 110, 120, 125. Yeah, I'm happy with that. And then I can actually see in here that that goes from 125 to 135. So I know that last little bit there is worth 10 degrees, which is good because that's what Kia wants. So last line goes in, just like that. We put in Ferrari here, and Kia goes in here. Once again, give your pie chart a title. A pie chart to show people's favourite car brand. And then you can colour in the segments once again. So, 3 big steps. 1, divide the number of angles or number of degrees in a circle by the number of votes. So that's job number 1. Job number 2 is to convert all of these votes into degrees. And job number 3 is to actually draw the chart itself. So 3 big steps. Don't miss anything out, otherwise you won't be able to construct an accurate pie chart. Please remember to use pencil, a sharp pencil, probably sharper than the one I'm using now. Remember to use a ruler, and remember to keep your hand steady when you're drawing around the outside of the protractor. And remember, you can use a calculator if you want, because I'm not testing your multiplication, I'm testing your ability to draw a pie chart accurately.